today.
No?
I think Nicole did one time, he did one,
Yeah.
and then I did one, keep it in,
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I have 8 minutes after 5. And we go ahead and call to order. And obviously it's a little different because of the food and such, so which is wonderful.
This is how every meeting should be.
Right.
Wait.
So what we'll do is, let's go to rise to our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The agenda, anything that needs to be moved around on the agenda?
Yes, we need to remove C. Approval of strategic plan was done last month,
Right, okay.
but you'll get an update on it next month.
Okay. Anybody have any problems with that? No? Okay, so yeah, we'll just, I'll strike C. Outside that, anything different?
No.
Perfect. Unless anybody have any questions, we'll need a motion to approve the agenda and striking C under new business.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Right. Thank you. All right, so this item is our meeting minutes. I did not see anything, however,
And you know what? Excellence in all things, Jim Ross.
You're right, all the time.
Thank you. Y'all heard that? Did you get that recording?
All the time.
He's, I'm right.
Yes, not what I said.
That's okay, Mr. Murphy, I got your back, Mr. It's okay, I got your
That's
back.
funny, on video.
I got your back.
I don't believe you guys said that.
You just literally said that. All the time.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow, those problems are all
Mine is real hot.
Let me go get him a bag ice real quick.
All right.
Chill, okay?
Where's that one? All right, we don't, anybody has any questions, we need to approve the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay?
1 second.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna eat this thing, but.
You might wanna wait till this is over.
I gotta stop.
Just a thought.
Man, it's like sneaking up on you too.
I got a mouthful.
I got one out there.
I'm kidding. I'm kind of a sissy.
Bring it, Jordan.
I'm better. When I first moved here, I'd been here, I was on the fire department, I did like my first or second shift, it was like green chili and eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, who does that? And why do we do this? Why?
Especially living in Mexico.
Why not? I didn't know that. Yeah, I love that. Now it's all the time. But back then, like, my idea of salsa was like ketchup. All right, excuse me, item number 4. Public comment. Anybody?
Mr. Reed.
You're reading.
Okay, good, I'll do that real quick. I only have a 45-minute presentation.
Okay. Hey, I got food, Mr. Reed, talk all you want.
You got 3 minutes, turn I'll get you one.
I thought it was 2.
Okay, you guys got a copy of these graphs right here. I just want to explain what they are. You'll see one of them, if you look at the top, it will have underlined reading. So it'll tell you, those kids are reading.
Yep.
And you know that those kiddos take every month, they take a test on high state. And those are the results. And I keep track of all of this stuff, okay? And a lot of times when you get information about testing, the statewide or whatever, it's a test they take in March and the results are always off, right? That's quite fun to look at this stuff. And there's high stages that way, in a way also. But I've looked at every grade level, every question on the test and see what goes on there. The questions are legitimate, but they're not as profound as what they take in March. And not as details. But it does test their knowledge, what are they getting? So it gives us an indication of where they are. These graphs, when you look at this graph that I'm showing you, I've shown you some other kinds of just numbers there, and it really doesn't mean that, it just puts it in the picture, it's easy to see. So let's take a look at the kindergarten reading. You'll see that red bell curve, that is the national distribution scores. Ours is the green line. See now, if we are within that red bell curve, what have we got to complain about? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you look at kindergarten, you have one kid looks like he's in an outlier in the red, very low student, right? So you understand how that works? And if you look at this, like looking at first grade in reading, they're totally inside the red line, you know, except for one outlier, right? It's probably a special ed student or a student.
But for the most part, they're above.
Yeah.
That's all
The green is where we are.
Yeah, you're above.
On the next bit, you have that tall light green bar there, that's the way that should look. And then, if you go to second grade, what you see is slides back, right? But I look at these graphs, August, September, October, November, December. If you'd have seen them in August, you would have seen that green curve is moving to the right. Sure. So that's interesting. Third grade, that looks pretty good. Fourth grade. So when you look at this, how we compare to everybody else in the nation,
Right.
well, we're not that bad. Now, what we would like to see is that you have as many of those two dark green colors as you have the red or more of those dark green colors.
Right.
You understand how to look at, that's an easy way to see where the kids stand on that monthly test. And these are given monthly.
Okay.
You do the first week of December, this is what happens in the first week of December.
Okay.
And this is where they are. So I can supply this with you each month, because I think it'll help you see how the kids are doing each grade level. On the other graph is the math results. And again, you look at kindergarten and first grade, they're pretty much inside the curve, no outliers, except that it's nice first grade, the outliers are the above and beyond.
Right.
See?
On the green side, right.
Now, second, there's one where we'd like to say, well, you know, pretty close to being inside what it needs to be, but it's very heavy on the left-hand side. You know, and so, if you have any questions about the graphs, you can see what's going on, right? This is an indication of what it is. If you look at this stuff over time, you can start seeing some trends. And we need to make some decisions based on what trends are we seeing and why is it trending in that way? Right. You know, so that's the purpose of me doing this. But you see, by the time we get to fifth grade in math, it's going south. Right? It's easy to see it's going south with math. And so,
what do you think the big, and I don't know if I'm even asking the right question, what is that obstacle where we see from, in math specifically, where we see from fourth to fifth, how we really see a big change? Is there just a big change in the math levels from fourth to fifth grade? Is that what we would expect, or is,
I suspect, I don't know, I'm just trying to learn, but just right off the graph, I can show you some other graphs of trends since 2003 when I started thinking. Show you some things and you'd go like, is it really there? I mean, like, here's how our first graders did from 2003 all the way up to just 25 years, 20 years of stuff. And the red lines just keep getting bigger, okay? I mean, I can provide you with a little bit of information, it's not fun to look at. Right. Well, this making more like, where do we stand like every other kid in the nation? Well, also, no, not that bad, but our math, they need to get better now. So, and I talked to Mr. Little and others, Mr. Snyder about this, I said, well, it seems to me that there are those 5 big things they say in reading that you gotta have, and 2 of them you have to have or you can't go any further. You know, you have to have phonetic awareness, you have to have decoding, or else you're not gonna read. In math, I think, well, there's gotta be something. And my goodness, I found a research thing by the Canadian government of all places. But the way they explained all this is, it made more sense than anything I've read written by an American scholar. And it's the basics of number sense, they have to have number sense, and that goes into all the areas of mathematics, whether it's algebraic thinking, computation, one operations, whether it's data and measurement. There are things they have to learn with number sense that if they don't get, they're not gonna succeed. And most of it's learned in kindergarten and first grade.
Gotcha, okay.
And if those two grade levels aren't doing these certain things, the kid in the fifth grade has no idea what 8 times 7 means.
Right. So really, if this is 2024 math, 2024 grades, our fourth and fifth graders were impacted by 2020.
Well, I have some graphs to show you what happened in that year too.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean, so I wonder if this is maybe partially related to that, but
It is.
they couldn't learn those key concepts on their own.
Well,
And maybe,
some kids learn all what we call number sense, they learn it on their own.
okay,
Just like some kids learn to read without a whole lot of instruction, they don't know how to do it. But in the math, there's this number sense, and it goes into a thing where a kid has to learn this thing in concrete terms. He has to learn to count by touching, it has to be concrete. And he has to master that. Whether it's just counting up, like the teacher says, well, count from 6. I've got 6 here. How many now count from that to set 15? He has to be able to do that. And that relates to what has to happen in algebra classes, right? That has to happen. Or they have to learn how to skip count. And most of our kids can't skip count. I mean, I just got on the playground and asked kids, look, count by 5s. Some of them can't do it. If they can't skip count, they have no concept of multiplication. And you know, they need to learn what arrays are, but, you know, and find an area perimeter. A lot of them have no concept of that. It's because after they learn the concrete things, they have to learn to be able to see it pictorially or graphically. In other words, they can look at a picture and say, oh, there were 5 birds in the tree and 2 flew away. Well, they have to point to those fit in the picture, but they can understand, or they could just learn the picture and say, oh yeah, I can see that. But it has to get to the point where they can get away from the concrete, and go to the graphic or the pictorial, but it has to be to the concept. I think the 3rd grade, they should be at the concept level, where they learn the multiplication facts. But I still have graded papers with 5th graders, and there's a word problem, and they have to multiply 8 times 7. Seriously, I've seen 8 dots and 7 lines. That's a 5th grader. See, he's never into the concept stage. He doesn't know what he's just counting. He's still in the counting stage. See what I mean? So we can't, the kids that don't have those concepts down, when they're downstairs over here, they don't need to be promoted upstairs, or else they're never gonna get it. So, but this graph at least shows us, our kids have the potential to do certain things that we probably need to change. Right. Especially down in grades K1 and 2. Now, reading, they've made some changes and things are going on, but math, there's some things that we need to look at differently. I'm gonna talk to those teachers about it.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Ms. Kumar about it.
Well, and that's why we do this, otherwise it's pointless.
But I'll try to, these graphs right here are probably a better indicator of where you see the classroom compared to the nation. That's helpful.
Very, very much.
And let me say this, when the state or whatever reports, they will call proficient, whatever you see in the 2 dark green colors.
Okay.
But these kiddos, some of these kiddos that are in the light green get a proficient score in iStation. But when they do the test, they only want to count these dark greens, so that gives us a very low percentage. Whereas really, if you're right there at the middle, that's, you're in the top half, right? You're in the top half, that's not bad.
Right.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And so, it's just a different one, but you have to understand when they report those test scores, they're not looking at how many are proficient, or in the top half of the, they got a certain percentage, certain criteria, and you gotta, because some of the kids that here, that I have one kid, he's on level 2, he's in the yellow, but on that test, he's scored proficient. Because so it's an interesting thing to look at. You have to study and look at numbers, how it's working out. But I think this is the best answer. This is what I keep really steady, compared to everybody else in the nation.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
That's, we're not trying to keep the numbers.
That would be great. Okay, that's really, very awesome. Now I know we blame the line. This is Mr. Brown, I think Garden for great teachers. My second grade, I was too old. Oh, good. No, that's actually that. Thank you, Mr. B. You're welcome. There's nothing else on public comment, right? All right, item number 5, financials.
I do have one bar, it's an initial budget bar, it looks like it's for the softball parking lot, and it's $191,128. And then approval for any maintenance bars, so the meter balances.
Wasn't there something else we had to add to that? Remember you asked us last meeting that there would be an additional sentence?
Maintenance
funds
Oh, no, the transfers, no.
No. Okay.
I don't have any of this.
Oh, okay, so that's only as needed then?
Yeah, it's gonna be more like towards like the end of the year.
Okay, I was wondering. Yeah. That was our deficiency, right?
Yes.
Perfect, that's pretty straightforward, we only have one bar. Does anybody have any questions about the bar? No, sir. Now, you motion to approve?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Thank you.
There's not much that changed from like 2 weeks ago when we had the last meeting. I don't have any, we haven't received any revenue for taxes yet, so all the numbers are pretty much the same. The only difference is maybe like the status of the SB9, just because we paid out some invoices. So you can just see the year-to-date expenses and the encumbrances, and then of course your fund balances and your checking account statements. Let's see. We did have the cash sweep. The cash sweep is the new one here. It's $506,817.
The cash fees, $500,000 a month.
Yeah.
They tried to sweep mine, I have to home.
And we are looking to do some additional investments as well, either with Morton or UBS.
Isn't Clarence gonna be here this time?
He's gonna be here in January, but he'll be at the Woolworth.
Right, oh, I thought he was gonna be here, I was expecting him on this January.
Yeah, so I have Morton building us a portfolio right now, giving us numbers to see which ones will work out better for us.
We're in 2 different firms we're looking at, one's Clarence and one's Woolworth.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Any questions on that? Not much has changed, obviously, it's pretty straightforward. Anything else, ma'am?
No.
That's it. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Well, we'll march the short parts right now, how about the other part?
all right. Bills list. I did not see anything on the bills that stood out, any difference in some of the couple of weeks. I didn't see anything on it. No? Need a motion to approve the bills list.
There was a time, you can pick whoever.
Okay. Renee, second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah. You're gonna get lost, so you ain't.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that one.
Oh.
I wanna see how that works.
You're good, that's it all day right there.
Glad to see you in here.
Of course, they had food.
You know, somebody said that.
Probably,
I don't know.
What did I say?
Well, I don't know who said it. I can't remember who said.
oh, little,
Renee's here.
No, it wasn't
probably
either.
little over there. But
Fucking man's girl.
That was probably me, Jim.
we're
Look at
talking,
me. Yeah. Well,
there was a straw, I know, poison.
oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, no.
Look at him over there, just being quiet through the whole
He
thing.
was hiding behind, where you sit.
Hide behind the ficus.
No, not the back, you old Travis is legal.
Damn, bro, can you feel the love?
I ever did.
Hey, welcome back, bro.
That's pretty funny. Okay, well, updates.
Okay.
So Mr. Weeks,
Mr. Loftus is gonna give a construction update.
You get to listen to me.
Our architect and Lasco both had meetings that they were attending to out of town.
Yeah.
So,
Timing.
Mr. Loftus.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start at the baseball field. The electric at the building's been roughed in. They're doing the plumbing right now. That's about to be wrapped up, and then they can schedule the inspection. Then the floor can go in, and then the block. So hopefully pretty quick here that we'll start seeing some things go up. They installed the septic and the leach fields were installed, so our right field is gonna be the greenest area out there once everything starts working right there. On the indoor, we broke ground on the indoor facility. Not much to see right now, it's just groundwork right now, but once they get that done, then they're gonna come in and they're going to survey the spots where the 187 holes are gonna be dug to lift that thing up on the stilts. So it's gonna be quite a like a jigsaw puzzle, you know, or whatever you wanna call it. So that's gonna be very, very interesting there. And then, you know, once they get that, then electrical and plumbing and all that stuff can start going. Athletics press box is almost done. They were waiting on some parts to come in, finally came in. So that thing should be skinned probably within the next 2 weeks. And then the rest of it, sheetrock, the rest of the electrical will be done on the inside. So that should wrap up pretty quickly there on that. The retaining wall on the north end of the football field is supposed to start tomorrow. And then the south end will start, the little elevation issues that Park Hill is still trying to work out on that south end because everything kind of slopes that way a little bit. So we're trying to figure that out.
What is that, Rick? Excuse me.
Is that ranch spicy?
No, I ate the other half of that. I ate the other half of that. I thought I had time.
You should've just given it to me.
On the north end of, what did you talk about the retaining wall on the north end?
I don't understand.
So there's a retaining wall on each ends of the track that bookend it, so I can do the track. So what's important about that is that has to be there before they can repave all the track and dig down to the base. And so when those two concrete things are there, it doesn't matter what's done or not done, they can start the track.
I understand.
And so by the time they get there, they're gonna have to wait till after track, so we can still use it for practice. We can't do it before.
Yeah, I knew the south one was
Yeah,
before the
yeah.
track, but
Yeah.
They spoke to the north and
Really
really
the
the
same.
neighbors can't look at the track.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's gonna do with the elevation and how they're gonna build up and so people can enter the facility on that north end and stuff. Because, you know, you enter the facility now, it goes almost, you know,
Yeah.
down slopes
it's
pretty
like the
heavily.
elementary parking lot, right?
Yeah.
It's like-
So that'll just hold It'll be raised up at
Yeah.
both ends where it'll just be flat on the pedestrian level. Where now the pedestrian level is not separated, it will with the fencing and everything will have its own.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And like Mr. Snyder said, they can't do the track until summertime because it has to be a certain temperature. You know, as much as we would like them to be able to pour it right now before track season, that's what happened the last time we did a track. And it was terrible. The quality of it was not there, so we have experience with a track being poured in the wintertime. You know, we didn't really know any better at the time. We do now, based on that. So unfortunately, maybe that won't be done until the summertime. But once that should be going fairly quickly and should be all completed before the start of the football season there. Cool. Elementary, as you can see, you know, we got stuff on the outside going up, so all the waterproofing and stuff like that is going up. We do have some bricking. They're gonna start bricking soon. So that'll really start tying it in. The roof is scheduled to be installed. They're getting it on their schedule right now. What you can't see, they're framing all the interior walls right now. So it's really starting to take shape. So one thing that we have had to do is they built a temporary wall just inside the elementary. If you've been in there, they've had to put a temporary wall. That's because they now have to dig out some of that on the east end of the building that would go out there to see how they can tie the two pieces together.
Right.
They got up in the ceiling, they discovered some obstacles as far as the main water suppression main goes right there in a lot of the Cat 5 stuff. So Park Hill is now trying to figure out that kind of stuff, 'cause that wasn't in the specs. So it was good. It's, you know, with like any renovation, you open a wall, there might be a surprise or two.
Did Park Hill design that though?
They didn't do the technology part.
Yeah, that, the technology was an after the fact, after, yeah.
They have they're all tracks and there's metal stages up in there. They added that after the game was designed. So Parkville didn't know about it. Of course, we're not gonna tell RJ that next meeting. I need you to grill. No, I mean.
Oh, right, oh, yeah, that's why we can, oh,
Right.
Why they didn't.
So at junior high, nearly all the below grade foundation is complete. They're starting to backfill. The steps are being formed in the commons area. Plumbing is being installed in the rough end. Will be completed soon. However, with the holidays, you know, we all know kind of how that goes. It might slow down just a little bit. So that's kind of an update. You guys have any questions as far as where things are right now?
I sure don't. I really like it. I mean, it's,
Obviously, lots of progress.
yeah, it's really neat to
Drive,
watch.
yeah.
It seemed like forever we were working on it, but we couldn't ever see
Now
it.
you can see it.
And now we see it.
The
That's-
next major thing that you'll see is the junior high addition.
Right.
Because they're getting very close for it to start really, there was a lot of work going on for quite a while. You just couldn't see it
Mhm.
because it was all below grade there.
And we have a construction update ready to roll in the morning on Facebook. just
Oh,
on the
sure.
air.
We're gonna ask you
It's
about
got
that.
pictures with it, it's similar to what he said, I added a little bit of comedic relief in it, so it's not so boring to read on Facebook.
There you go.
Maybe it'll elicit a few responses, maybe trying to get a response.
Careful what you ask for.
I don't know, right? No, but I'm right. So I think first a little, that Christmas humor in there, so.
Right, oh, there you go, good. Yeah, that was my next question, I was gonna ask when the next update was, how often are we putting those out?
When they're significant.
Or just the podcast stuff? Cool, awesome, thank you. Anything else, Coach?
No, sir, no, thanks so
You're
much.
done?
Finally done, guys.
Did you time me out there at school? You get a time?
They
I
just
did.
said, they just said it was too long.
After the last meting and the fact that I couldn't wrap my head around anything, I have no reason
Oh my
to
gosh.
wrap my head around. It was horrible. I was don't know why.
Lots of people were having a hard time wrapping their head around it.
But I just, yeah, that was bad. I went home like, oh, they hate me. What are you trying? It just didn't click. I wanted it to click, but it just wouldn't. All right, item number 7, new business. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Still a quorum, so item number 7, new business, letter A.
Can I so add one thing about the construction?
Yo, oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Next month, you're gonna see an addition to add the greenhouse and all the improvements to the courtyard back here. So you'll see that from Parkville next month.
Okay.
Just to add all that you get permission to do.
Right.
Just add like the ceiling in the junior high. They took certain things out and now they're adding them back in. It's time to put the greenhouse and stuff. So that way they get
Okay.
ordered, they've got to get the greenhouse.
Ceiling in the junior high?
Yeah, there was a wooden ceiling that they took out, and then they're putting it back in, or designing it, still working on the design. So they pulled it out of the cost, and now they're wanting to put it back in. It's a wooden slatted ceiling.
Aesthetics?
Yes,
Oh,
aesthetic.
okay.
It just, it adds a significant amount to that, because it's a big area where that training center is gonna be. Also, it adds a kitchen and serving area to the new, training center. Just a little buffet type area.
Right, well, we saw that last partial.
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. Any other questions over the updates on construction, any of the facilities? No? Thank you, everybody. So now we'll move on to item number 7, letter A, math grades K-5 curriculum.
Okay, so last month, what you approved was an upper grade level into math curriculum. This will be the Ms. Colmar K through 5. So Ms. Colmar, do you have anything to add to this quote or add to it on what?
I don't think I need to. Mr. B kind of told you one of the
Yes.
problems that we're
Yeah.
facing.
Right, well, that
Is
was
a
it.
for math curriculum,
Right.
so we want to go with this one because it's better, and I think that it would, you're gonna see the progress. So, yeah, I think you kind of laid the groundwork of why we need a better curriculum.
So when you guys, and this is, I don't need to ask a lot of questions, but
I'm fine with questions.
when we look at math, like this curriculum, and we look at the data like Mr. B just presented, does that data show, topics of weakness, not just generalized? Does it say they're weak in this or they're weak in that? So when we
Yes.
pick curriculum, we can pick curriculum that that is heavy in those areas also, or maybe more robust in those areas? I don't know if
It
I'm
does.
saying that right.
It does. When it comes to iStation and you break down the data, it does break it down into like what he was talking about, the number sense, computation, things like that, measurement, geometry. It does do that. It does show areas of weakness. The thing is that iStation doesn't, also in math, doesn't match what our curriculum has. And so that's the other reason that it's always going to be off, because iStation doesn't match what you're teaching. It's just like if you took the ACT or the SAT, you'll take it one time and then you'll take it again. They may not necessarily ask the same kind of questions that you did, so you might have done better on one. That doesn't mean that you know more or less, you just knew more of what was on that test or what was asked. So iStation math, you're always going to see a little bit of a difference. Sometimes you can see more growth or less because it's not always what's in the curriculum. The other thing though is like our interventions, our Math 180 and Read 180, hey, this is not on our time either. That also doesn't go along with the interventions that we have. Math 180 is by the same company as Into Math. So you're also going to see interventions matching curriculum better too. That's what and number sense, you know, those are the things that are tough. I don't know how good you guys are in math, but for some people, it doesn't matter what you do, you're always gonna have a math block. Number sense has more to do with, this is one way that I explain it, just one simple way that I explain it. So I have a habit of, if I'm somewhere in it's 1621, well, I'll give them 2121, so I can give a 5 back instead of change. And when you give a kid something like that and they look at it like, you gave me way too much, and they can't, that's kind of a number sense. If I was to say I'm directionally challenged, if the sun is up one way or another, I can tell you east and west. If it's straight up, I'm in trouble. It doesn't matter what I do, I'm just directionally challenged. Number sense is kind of the same thing. You have math, but sometimes you don't.
Okay.
Do you have a better example?
No better example, but what we're doing as a district right now is Mr. Loft is working on benchmarks and standards and developing a school district curriculum. And what you're asking is, do we get results that tell us are we weak in certain areas? Yes. He's gonna lay out, this is what we need to teach at this grade level. The reports we're gonna get back from the state at the end of the year are gonna tell us exactly how we're doing at each of those levels.
Right.
So it's all coming together like it needs to, it's just gonna take.
Might take a little time, so
Okay.
I will tell you data.
But it sounds like we're on the right track.
Yeah, that was really with these new math.
Well, and the other thing too, to kind of expand on what he was talking about, so, you know, when this is iStation, this is the monthly assessment, and then we do MAPS, which is 3 times, beginning, middle, end of year. You guys are getting ready to do yours here in the next week, or this week, actually. So we'll do ours, the second week of January, we'll do our middle of the year testing. Excuse me. And then the state testing. So one of the things that he's working with is on the state testing, like if you've got a question in measurement and you have 10 questions on measurement, that's a priority that you need. If you have 1 question on measurement that's something you could hit at the end of the year because, you know, they might have something on algebraic expressions. So he's taking a look at the information that the kids are tested on and seeing where do we need to spend a big chunk of our curriculum and our time teaching that curriculum, as opposed to, it's unrealistic to say we're gonna be able to teach everything by the time the kids are tested. That's just not gonna happen. But we do need to look at it and say, this is where we need to spend the majority of our time. This is where we need to spend another part of the time. But the other thing is, like foundation, you have to have those foundational skills.
Yeah, and then what we also have, so Mr. Loftus is getting the scope and sequence, but it won't be in the right order yet. So this is why we went to a training in the office, and Mr. Loftus went with teachers. They just were more like, I gotta get back, I've got so much, I'm behind on everything. So we're telling them now you have to write a curriculum and get it all perfectly aligned before you put it in. And so Mr. Loftus said, you know what I'm gonna do? AI, we're using AI, by the way, which is awesome with the artificial intelligence. And Mr. Loftus is kind of strategically putting these things together. And so what the teachers are gonna do, they're gonna already have that tool. And where they come in is they're gonna have to take it and put it into the right order on how when they're going to teach it. Not the concepts and everything, but when are you going to do it? In January, we're gonna do fractions. In February, you know, it's like the scope and sequence. The teachers will come in, and that's where the buy-in comes from teachers, because they will literally have to be the ones that time when they're gonna do it. And that's, we came up with that, and I talked to CES, and they said, that sounds like a great plan. Some of them were kind of like, well, I don't know if you can do that. Well, why can't we? Why would a teacher, they don't time it. It's either that or you're not gonna get it done in your district. And that's what I tell them, I said, it's either that or you're not gonna get it done in your districts. Right. Because we're gonna have to have somebody that helps pull it all together. Okay.
Sounds right, sounds good. Well, we can, I was just speaking to Mr. Loftus before the meeting, and his position is not, I mean, it's a new position. We've always done it, just never had anybody leading that charge and really pulling everything in together. And I think, you know, it'll take a couple of years. I mean, you can't create data, it takes time. So, you know, there's nothing you can do to, it's like teaching experience, you can't teach experience. So we just gotta wait and see how it rolls out and keep what works, figure what doesn't, and you know, it's fluid. So I think it's awesome. And I really liked Mr. Lee's stuff too. It's great, you know, just looks at it, you look at it, oh, I can actually understand what that says. I'm not a math person, so.
It's kind of an overall picture that you guys need as a board, right? We need the overall picture, right? You know, are we within the curve or whatever?
So this is a 2-year contract, is that correct, this K-5 curriculum?
Yes, and the reason being is that we're on 7th year with curriculum, but there's 2 years left in the current cycle, and we don't want to wait 2 years for that. So we want to, why wait 2 more years for it? So we want to come in with a good curriculum for the next 2, we're gonna evaluate it, see if we're good for the next 7, so we're not locked in another 7 like this happened. And then we'll be able to either say, yes, we're gonna renew it, or no, nope, we're not. So that's why we're just gonna do the next 2 years to see how it goes.
Yeah, we don't want to do something just because we're in a contract, it isn't working.
Yeah.
So I thought that's mine's here, yes, sir. Perfect. Anybody have any questions? I called it, I just said, what do I call it, math, because I thought it was a typo. It said into, I thought it was supposed to be like intro.
Oh, intro.
I'm not gonna say that. So, anybody have any questions about the instant math K-5 curriculum through HMH, 2-year contract, $40,745.59.
I'll make that motion.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to tell us what's happening and really inform us, and I know we're not educators, so we have no idea really what we're doing up here a lot of the times. So it's really nice to have people that are willing to take the time, and I've been talking to the board presidents, and you know, they don't get the same interaction with the staff as we do. You know, they're willing to come and tell us what we're doing, and we really appreciate that. At least I.
And I'd like to say, I appreciate the fact that even though we're probably still paying on the one that's not working,
Yes.
I appreciate the fact, okay, it's a loss.
Yeah,
It is,
yeah.
but this
you're
is
right.
what's best for our kids. We need to get them where they're supposed to be, so I appreciate not just sticking with something just because we're still paying.
Yeah, absolutely, get rid of it. If it's not working, we can own it and move right past it.
Yeah, we'll take the L.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, I've taken the math books that we haven't used and I donated it to another school that they were a private school and they don't have. So we gathered up all our things and we sent it on to them.
Good, so it's not a waste.
So it's not a waste, it's going to another private school, they don't have the funds.
Awesome, yeah, that's.
And it's a private school, we don't want to do as good as us anyway. Strike that off.
Yeah. Something. It's about kids.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's your word, it's about kids.
Even whether they're private kids or public school kids now.
They're the only ones that
Should I put in there, it's a religious private school?
Okay. And they have Jesus too, so they're.
Who needs math if you got Jesus? Okay, I'm gonna go with that.
Did that help? Did that help, President?
Yeah, I know. It's all right. I didn't know who's listening now.
Sorry.
We're good.
Buddy.
We're good.
All right, letter B, is there another policy concerning, discussion for a policy concerning athletic participation?
Okay, so we brought in Mr. Satterwhite here. He has some good insight into the policy. We've thought it back and forth, and we don't want to, well, I'll let you talk about what we don't want to do and what our desired outcomes are with these kids.
Talking about our kids that are quitting. Well, there's a lot of different ways that folks are handling that. It's really up to y'all as to how you want to deal with it, because in the end, it's gonna come back into, your office when some parent's mad because of the way that it's handled. But, currently, it's kind of up to my discretion if they quit to let them go on to the off season of the next sport. And there's different ways of thinking about that. That's a difficult thing, because you don't want to punish the next sport, even though you're disappointed in the kid that might have quit. But by the same token, you also want kids to learn, and it's a very valuable lesson as we go through life. We can't just up and quit when things aren't going our way.
Yes, sir.
And, that applies to our marriages and everything else that we have to deal with as life moves forward. So, we'd like for people to really think through things. But I would, be willing to talk to some of the other schools in the area and see kind of how they're all handling that. I have a little bit, but I would like to research that a little bit more, come up with something that I think that y'all might be interested in, that might help us with that a little bit. I will say that, we've had a lot of transition this year, myself included, that, as we change coaches and directions and philosophies, sometimes those don't mesh with what's been here in the past, and kids struggle with that. And especially seniors.
It's changed too. I mean, and not everybody.
But especially seniors. And so, I'd say we've been a little bit graceful, maybe, shown a little bit of grace when it comes to our seniors. But I think in the future, we're gonna have to get a better hold on it. But I don't think we'll have as much trouble in the future either, because as kids begin to see, what the expectations are, then things should fall into place a little bit better.
Right.
But there are other ways of handling that you guys might want to take a look at. And I can sure do some research, come back to you in a month or two, and we can talk about it again and see if that's something that direction that you want to go in our policy. I think it's important that we put it in the policy and say this is the way that we're going to handle it. And I think it's something that needs to be in at the beginning of the school year, where we're telling parents and kids that, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the way that we're going to handle this. So when these thoughts cross your mind because you didn't get enough playing time, or you're mad at coach or whatever, then this is the way it's going to go moving forward. So you'll have to accept the way that this is going to work. You don't want to throw that in there now, but I think that's something that we need to look really hard at. I think there's some policies that we've done in the past that are probably outdated because we don't live in that world anymore. 15, 20 years ago, kid quits one sport, he said, well, you're done for the rest of the year, you're done for the next sport. I don't think that's the world we live in today.
Okay.
It would be nice that our world was still that down the line, but I just don't think we are. The kids, you got kids and families that their parents aren't even together, so, when those are your examples, sometimes it makes it difficult.
Right.
But there's lots of things going on where everything's fluid and changing, and so kids are part of that, sometimes get tied up in all of that. And so I think we need to look at something that has a little more flexibility in it, it's just something that concrete, but I would entertain the idea that I would come back in a month and bring you something, probably 2 or 3 different things to look at, so I can see what you guys think on that would be fair to our kids and fair to our community.
Yes, sir. Well, I think I can speak for the board here. In the event that the subject matter experts, which are definitely not the 5 of us at this table, come to us and say, this isn't working, our job is to listen. That's our job. We will invite that conversation at any time you feel that conversation needs to be had. And then Mr. Schneider agrees with, obviously, I'm not superseding the chain of command. I just think as a board, we always want to hear if there's things that we need, that we can assist with improving, because that's your area of expertise, is not ours. And I can say historically, we've always been open to that. And I think as long as I'm the president, I think I'm comfortable with saying, I think our board will always be open to it, at the very least listening. We don't always agree, but our tendency is to always lean towards the subject matter experts, because sports is contentious, man. Holy mackerel. I had no idea the level of how contentious sports were until I became a school board member. I mean, I went straight from like not knowing anybody to people hating me. And I'm like, you never even gave me an opportunity to be your friend. You don't know me, how do you dislike me? But it was a sport, right? And then I learned a lot. I changed my whole, I'm an academic guy. I mean, I'm not a sport, I love sports, but I believe in our, the first few things we were tasked with in education is education. And then I realized how important where sports really fit into that.
It is, and it's such a hook.
And then there's so many different levels. I mean, you just named on some huge things as far as when you quit in life, you never go back, you quit. And once you've done that, it's so easy to do it again and again and again. Sometimes there has to be kind of accountability and consequence. But again, we don't know what that looks like. I mean, no, we absolutely do. We know the second that decision is made, we understand who the people who are going to be complaints and concerns. I'm sorry to ramble, but yeah, I really value what you're saying there, and I think the board is very open to entertaining you as a leader of our sports programs to, if you say, hey, guys, there's something wrong here, well, we're all ears.
And that is the deal. I was just at a conference this last week, and one of the things that they accentuated, student athlete, that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
There is no other version of a school than a student that's an athlete.
Right.
That's, really, when you get, just distill it down to what the priority should be.
Yeah.
Because you've gotta have the, they're very important, you really need them to keep the kids in the, to be a good student.
And they build there's so many building blocks that are in athletics that I did not recognize, honestly. And I was at school athlete, I was a high school athlete. I wasn't very good. I was in the 6A school, I started every year, but I still wasn't, I think. But that being said.
But they go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand, right? Right, I mean, so anyways, we would, the short of it is absolutely, we would love to entertain any information that you and your leadership can come up with. we'll sit and listen to you guys, and you guys figure it out, let us know what direction you think we should go.
Okay.
What is this? I think that's that music to tell me to wrap it up.
I don't know what this is.
That's somebody from there.
We don't hear somebody.
Please don't.
Like Brian, all you have to say
Right here,
is,
sir.
you just have to go like this. The Oscars and the person giving the speech, and they start playing the music. Oh, yeah.
The commercials coming.
Anyhow, thank you, sir, and we're, board's always here to listen. What you have to say, and suggestions, even if it's multiple changes in a year, I mean, it's a fluid environment. You know, it's it's equally as important as academics, and 15 years ago, I would never have said that. And now I'm just a board member, I figured out, I was way wrong. Wrong. So, anybody else have anything to say about this? Is that just a lot of time left?
No, sure.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for us? No? Do you have anything to give? Yes, sir. You have a good Christmas. So what, maybe next month, sir?
That's what you want, we'll get on it.
Well, we don't want to set unrealistic, I mean, obviously it's holidays and all of that, so the time frame is really up to you, whatever you feel is.
Yeah, let's move it to February.
Okay.
Put 'em on time.
Wonderful. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Letter C, we're gonna move past. That's the approval of strategic plan, which that was on the side. No.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Right. Straight under the bus.
Uh-oh. Should I say that?
All right. Letter D, let's talk about this big old expensive truck.
Okay, so we need a box truck. Skip. Where's the truck? That's it. No. Yeah. So we have a box truck now that is about 25 years old, and it's starting to give us a little bit of trouble. The box on it is not lifting up like it was. The truck itself is not as good, not as strong as it was. So we were going to trade it in and get a new box truck. And now we use a box truck. Used to be hauling the food every day from elementary, but now not only do we move stuff around, but we also use it for freight, incoming.
Right.
So every day nearly they're loading boxes and distributing to each of the buildings. And so we use a box truck almost every day.
Right.
Yeah. Well, just an update because it's old. I think it's
Really?
yeah.
Good, yeah. And this is, yeah, that's insane. And this is the same people we always go through, right?
Yes.
What's their turnaround time?
They have it already.
Oh, wow, that's unheard of.
Yes, on
It's put the box.
Yeah, it's not like our buses.
I'll drive the best.
You gonna drive it back? All right, whatever. Just don't let us.
Pay attention to what's
Loftus too?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What does it gotta be?
Oh, wow.
I will go on a chair every day. I am not scared of you.
Yeah. So that being said, letter D, purchase a box truck for $81,250, which is under CPS. Need approval.
And I'll second it.
On there. Awesome, thank you guys. And I'm surprised RJ's not here.
He doesn't want money.
Yeah, he does, $1.9 million.
So this is back to where I was talking to you about the construction update. However, it did make it on the agenda. I had Carolina had it while I was gone. I didn't think it made it on the agenda.
Oh.
And the reason they need a lead time for the greenhouse.
Oh,
So they need to get the greenhouse ordered, so it'll be here by the time they're ready for it.
so this could be a silly question. Have we seen design of the greenhouse?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I mean, I
But
remember
it's like
seeing
brick
it.
up, and
Yeah.
yeah, there was some options, and,
Okay.
but you never, I don't know if you've seen 3D design of it.
Well, I remember us talking about your house, it seems like a few years ago.
Would you like to update it?
Well, I don't wanna mess up the time constraint, but I would like to see it go next time, because I don't really know what it's gonna look like at this point. I remember some initial drawings and discussions. but then we tabled it because we were doing all the other construction.
So it's basically gonna look like that first drawing that we saw, remember that a long time ago, which was bricked up partway?
Right. And then it's got bricks.
Yeah. It's got about a third of the way up, remember that? And anyway, it was a long time ago, but they're redesigning that whole courtyard area.
Right.
So they're gonna have to get all those drawings before they have the greenhouse, and it's gonna be in those drawings. So
So
there's
how
really
can
no.
how can pricing the greenhouse without?
Because it's just a generic greenhouse, I mean, any greenhouse is gonna look the same with clear panels. You know, what I mean, it's the same.
But we'll make it nice, right?
Oh, it's a
It'll be-
brick partway,
Okay. I mean, it will look like.
Yeah.
Part of
integrated into the campus,
Right.
absolutely.
We
Yes.
actually
Yes.
voted for the upgrade
Okay,
because we had options of a cheaper
okay.
Exactly right, that's
Window.
exactly right, yeah.
I
plexiglass
even forgot about
survey
that.
and we
Right.
voted
I
to
do-
put it in and make it nice.
I do remember.
But you will be getting the 3D drawings along with the new courtyard design.
Okay.
By the way, they are working on that.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember which version.
Mr. Loftus, can you put that down when we make sure that they do address that area in their 3D drawings that they're supposed to?
And these are those ceiling blades? This is the ceiling blades in the junior high, right?
This, it's a wooden ceiling. Remember the slatted wooden ceiling, they were gonna take it out and just put a suspended ceiling?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you know.
Gross.
And also it adds the kitchen serving area, not a kitchen, but serving area into that.
Yeah, you're right. Awesome. I don't have any further questions. Mine was mainly about the greenhouse. I don't know what version, but you got, I forgot who done that.
So the main thing, what you'll see is how they integrate it into the design.
And you done, they can do that next week.
I don't know about next meeting, but they're getting it
Oh.
all together. They're getting it all.
Anybody have any questions about that changeover number 10 and going number 1, like junior high, so we expect one. All right, so we need a motion to approve change order number 1 for $1,911,250,000, please.
I'll make it. I'll second it.
Awesome. Cool. I'm a little glad to see the greenhouse now, that thing's been talked about
Really cool.
for years, 64 or something like that.
Well, we have one for a little.
Right. Awesome. Item number 8 is for us as board members. Is there anything for future discussion that we would like on next week's agenda?
Yeah, can we put that we have this every single time?
We can ask.
We can ask.
Appetizers, we can do the appetizers.
We don't ask. Gotta make it
Oh, we got to happen.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
What if Johnny in charge of that? I'm here all the time. Now you're really gonna be here.
Yeah, okay, so Mr. Snyder, at this point, we're at principal's report.
Look at him
Would
trying
you
to.
like him to come in?
So is it possible to have the students who delivered it tell us who they are?
I would like to recognize them as well.
Since we're on the principal, real quick,
Oh, yes.
real quick, I just also want to recognize shop students made these things, so you can get a couple, if you get the tree, you have to take a little snowman that's with it, because it came unglued off the bottom, that's holding it up.
Awesome, that was nice to show.
Also, that whole tree's up for grabs.
Yes, the reindeer over there, the one eye, so now you know.
I have to offer. Not that.
No.
Don't worry, I fix our word on this stuff.
Awesome.
Because she said, oh, superintendent's budget, I said, I have a budget.
Sorry,
No, that's a.
Yeah, sure.
We'd love to have their keeping it for me, that I have a budget. Can you just introduce yourself, what grade you're in? That you love, or whatever, you don't like it, and what would you serving us?
Okay, so I'm Emma Geary, I'm in the 8th grade, and I'm in the culinary class, and we're serving, I forgot, chicken parmesan, pasta, and lasagna.
Wow.
So,
What is your name?
I'm in 7th grade, and I love cooking.
Oh, right.
Like the class?
Seventh grade?
Hi, everybody, I'm Isaac, and I'm 7th grade.
That's my baby right there. Hi.
Do you like culinary?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm an eighth
You like culinary?
Then we'll let him. He's all right.
Hey, you gonna serve me with this,
Sharp as violet.
And I was like, bro, you can't even dribble with your right side. He's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Who needs a napkin?
They all do.
Hey, here's a notice, introduce yourself.
I'm Zoe, I'm a freshman.
You're a freshman. Hey, what about culinary? Love it or what?
Yeah, well, I'm volunteer.
Oh, you just volunteered. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Volunteer that
Are you, so when you say you volunteer, you just do what they help?
Yeah.
Are you interested in the culinary class?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might take it, or?
Maybe.
She would appreciate it. Right, that makes sense.
He couldn't wait.
I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Art, could you do a quick prayer first after we get the food? Jim, I'll know.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
That was a legit plan.
Thank you, Jesus.
Jamie just got ordained, Jamie just got ordained recently, so she can help prayer.
He wants in prayer.
Of course, anybody can help prayer, ordained or not, but.
Say I'm glad you said that, because
Smells.
Thank you.
For Thanksgiving, they actually have a dress.
Is there any extra jalapeno poppers?
Not Jim.
Jerry's
No,
off.
Jim takes some more. No, Jim wants ice cream.
And it was.
So everybody except for. Is that a white thing or?
He's not a spicy.
No, there's no circle. You know what?
Oh my
Is there anybody else, or waiting on anybody else's food?
They're gonna serve over here as well.
Oh, perfect, yeah, we're just waiting for, what did you say, Grace? Just.
Admin can wait.
That goes for you too, boss.
He was the first one to
I got your back. I got you.
Wow. We need some more red plates. We need more red plates.
Okay, who else?
Go to, take this
Oh,
one.
it's hot there.
I was like,
Not Jim.
Thank you.
That second bite wasn't that hot. I mean, it was hot, it made me topic.
Thank you.
First one.
Smells good.
That's sort of.
It's pretty warm.
That's awesome. I mean, that.
Maybe those ones were that with an X.
All right.
Yeah, that's literally Wednesday night for Thanksgiving, made 2 huge trees.
Is there any more?
Would it be inappropriate?
Does anybody want any more salad to go with it? Or vegetables?
You know what, Abby, I'll take some cucumbers and some carrots, please. Thank you.
Just back with them?
Yeah.
One more for Mr. Curtis, please.
Smells amazing.
Yeah.
You bring your two, it's a slop.
That's why I keep it.
I'm just kidding, you don't have to do it.
He's got
One more, sir? I'm gonna get mine to go.
Okay, yes, sir.
Look out, some box.
Missing a plate is.
You wanna come in?
It's
Oh, it's better.
I think Mr. Saddle.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, sweetie, I appreciate you very much.
Hey, guys, really quick, I just wanna say thank you for being patient with us and working with us and letting us have all the access we're able to do. These kids there's a couple that I've told them whenever we can make it to a competition, the ones that stay and do all this, they'll be the first to go because they've earned it.
Right, and there is culinary competitions, right?
There's one I've already been looking into that's, if they'll have us, it's in San Antonio.
Really? Oh, yeah, it's the same word.
That's it.
Yes. And you know, and again, thank you for.
I got one right outside.
We're hearing about the kids, board members are talking to us about their children saying, I want in that program.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's impressive. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
It's-
I wanna build it to the caliber of like athletics.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No.
That's the pride I'm
Here
looking
for
for.
it.
That's exactly what we
Yes,
want. That's
so-
exactly what we want. We want to thank all of you students. Thank you so much. And if it's okay, you don't have to take part. But Mrs. Art is going to lead us in prayer before we eat. Okay, but it's an option for you.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, we love you, we praise you, we thank you for this day. Lord, I thank you that the blessings are, that these kids are, and that Chef Beth is to them and to us as a community, Lord. I thank you so much for this opportunity for our kids to fall in love with a class at school. We ask that you would bless this food and bless the hands that prepare it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for everything.
I'm not long-winded, it smells so good.
It's hard to just rattle that off like you've done it before.
I'm gonna start my report by letting Mr. Strong talk about the robotics competition night this weekend before he starts leading.
Yep,
Ready to go now?
right, dude, he was gonna do the waiter thing as soon as I put him out. Can I help him with anything else? Yes, we had our Lego robotics competition this past weekend, and it was awesome. Okay, I mean, we had nine teams representing JAL. 7 of them were in the junior high, 2 of them were in the elementary. You know, we didn't have any other schools come in because it was kind of like our first time to host a qualifying meet, and we were trying to, I guess, sell ourselves. So that, hey, we have the facilities, we can do this, and the people that helped with putting these on were very impressed with our facilities and how we ran everything. So, possibly next year, I'll be moving, trying to, I guess, recruit schools to come and participate here in JAL, because we are going to do this again and have different schools, mostly on the eastern side, because when we were competing, we were crossing over the mountain to go to Alamogordo, and there was not really a lot of people and a lot of teams from the east side of New Mexico. So I'm planning on going up to Eunice, Hobbs, Lovington, Tatum, even up into Portales and Clovis to maybe bring some of them to come down here and get more students to participate. Also, I'm gonna probably get with Mr. Little and Mr. Snyder, see if we can have another robotics class for the 8th grade next year, so that we can still, compete, and, a lot of these kids want to keep going on with this program. So, other than that, the volunteers, we had many volunteers from the community helping out. Teachers were helping out, we had Brian and Karen Norwood helping out, so, it was awesome, and I wanted to, thank Renee for also showing up, because, we expect, we were asking our parents to show up to their kids' academic needs also, as well as their athletic. So, with Renee being a school board member, we're glad that he was there to support his son in this academic endeavor also as well. So, is there anything else that you could?
You did a fantastic job organizing this whole thing, and I'm excited to see, I believe next year it will be a bigger thing that we'll be able to, because the lady from the state, she said she was super excited that we were having this in our area. She said, I'm so excited to see this, and that maybe bring more schools that don't know about it, or that can't travel, or it's too far, maybe getting them excited about coming and participating.
So,
Yeah, hey, Jane, I'd like to say something. I think y'all did a phenomenal job. When you hear the word robotics, you're like, I wish people would get to see what actually.
Yeah.
Hey, when they said it's over, I'm like, no. Let's do more, Jane. And you talk about the kids competing to get to go to state.
Yeah.
I seen it just like a basketball tournament. Kids competing, hey, these guys beat it, no, we gotta beat them. It was, the challenging was there, and we had quite a bit of people show up, but I think, kind of like Johnny says, once you get invited and make it, and I don't know how or what, but if you were to have like an open gym and have the whole school go and watch have the table set up and have a high school gym full of, all the kids, I mean, you'd have more kids. I mean, hell, I'm 45 years old and I wanted to do it. It's awesome. If y'all get a chance, I can't wait to go to Albuquerque.
Sounds awesome.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's amazing, because
Man,
people hear Lego League and they're thinking, oh, it's kids playing with Lego.
Hey,
It's so much more
hey,
than
you
that.
know what's crazy? It's 2 boys and 2 girls, or 3 girls and 1 boy, and man, it's a team, and they get it and they help this kid and the other kid, and then what's crazy, you have the other teams going, oh man, they got it, and then they're turned up, and this team that just went is on the other side of the ball, they're like, come on, they're rooting for it. They're competing against each other, but they're rooting for each other. And
And that's what Mr. Little was telling me the other day on Saturday. He said, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is amazing. He was pretty.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed was problem solving skills. They have a sit down program. They have to have a group over here on the computer program.
Sure.
Exactly directions and everything. That's very, very good for problem solving skills and teamwork.
Best thing I ever ties into the rocket program.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. The people that, like the rocket program, that don't go out there and experience it for themselves, have no idea
No
what it's
idea.
like.
That's right.
I had no idea, and I didn't go to their classroom.
Mhm.
I went in there and watched that, holy cow.
Yeah, well, they said, hey, Jayden's the guy that programs the robots, I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. But then I walked in that gym and I'm like, heck yeah, you know what I mean? Right. Man, we can't wait to go to Albuquerque.
Well, and the one more example, before I finish, there was a 6th grade team that was, barely getting by, and they were going up against the 7th grade team that was pretty good. Well, they also kind of go against each other in the middle part of this table. Well, the 7th grade and this little 6th grade team, they were on the line. Well, the 7th grade team accidentally hit their side of the table, which gave them points to put them over the line to go to Albuquerque. So they thought that they didn't have a chance, and then that happened, and it was the last game, the last match. So those 3 little boys now are happy, and they're like, top 9, and now they get to participate in the state
They
competition.
also added that if they win a qualifier or place in the top 3 of state, we're gonna take SeaWorld,
Sure.
San Antonio.
Oh,
How many 2 phone calls?
Mr. Little pulled some strings and I wrote a letter for him and he was able to get a donation to pay for it.
Nice.
Awesome.
No, yeah, you did a great job. Thank you. If there's anything we can do to help, I speak.
Yeah.
Right up in the board, man.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you.
We need a chaperone for SeaWorld.
Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up real quick, so it's so hard to do. Chaz Perez did come and do his presentation, and
What did you think of that?
I thought it was excellent. I loved it. I like the fact that I wrote in here, he really worked on mental health. I thought he was talking about the things he had went through in life, and there are options for kids that are struggling. He talked a lot about being resilient, the resilience you go through, and the servant leadership he talked about. I thought it was good. What do you think?
I didn't get to hear him, that's why I'm asking you.
Oh.
I didn't make it
I loved
to
it.
it, but we had kids that participated at school hearing him, and then they went back when it was open to the public
Community.
to
Yeah.
hear him again.
Yeah, he was good.
So I thought that kind of.
And it had a really high level of interaction with the kids and they loved it. They
Oh, yeah, I
loved
heard nothing but
the
good things.
dances and that was really cool the way he did it.
Yeah.
Junior high spelling bee, the champion was Kenzie Salcedo, and our runner-up was Gribble Teal. And I listed 3rd. He was 1 out.
Oh.
We did have reading and math 180 coaches here on campus. I talked about them coming at the last board meeting. As far as ELA, English Language Arts, they spent most of their time at the secondary level talking about data analysis, being able to look at each individual student where they are, and how to move those students. And the mathematics side of it, when they met with their math teachers, they mainly talked about us transitioning from math 180 with those students that are ready into the grade level curriculum that y'all approved us to adopt last time. The Systems Go flight profile review took place in Artesia. Mr. Richard said it was very successful. That was last week. Oil and gas school, Mr. Richard wanted me to let you guys know that Mrs. Parsons will be trained to instruct the first year of the course. I think she has some oil field background, working in the oil field, and she's done a real good job with our kids thus far. So he wants to move in that direction. And again, there hasn't been a lot of time since the last meeting, but Mr. Bella met with our seniors to go over FAFSA, if they're interested in going to college. And that's just the forms they have to fill out if they're interested in financial aid.
So real quickly on that, did, I'm referring back to my son when he was here in 2018, Mr. Bella did the same thing. But even if they weren't required, should they still do it? Are they still doing that?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good, okay.
Yes.
Because I remember that there were several students that even though they didn't think they were interested, they ended up being interested.
Yes.
It's a good thing they apply.
Right, and they already did that process, that's all.
And I'm gonna let Mr. Sadowat finish mine up with the first part of this. Thank you. The calendar included to get you deep into January.
Thank you.
Mr. Little, want me to talk just briefly about the basketball season? It is fast and furious. We're underway. We've been playing a lot of junior high basketball. The varsity girls and JV girls have played a little. We've got, the big boys, the varsity boys will be coming up in a tournament in Andrews soon. That'll be their first crack at it. But junior high girls led by Johnny Knight down here, he's got them on there. They're 3-1 right now and getting better every time. They've been fun to watch, lots of crap in those girls. That's what's been fun for me to watch. Junior high boys team, the blue team, 1-3. I know Renee's been at those ball games and there's been some real dog fights in those games. The record could certainly look better than what it is, but it's not been for a lack of coaching or a lack of effort by anybody. It's just been smooth getting after. We thought we had Eunice beat the other night. I mean, we played them a great ball game for a while, and then the wheels came off a little bit there towards the end. But we had them on the ropes, and that's always a good thing around here when we beat them. So we thought it was fixing to happen, and we had them down. I don't know if 10 at halftime right going up. We had them down, and I don't know if y'all looked. We're not overly tall with our bunch, and they're a lot taller than we are. And that's what got us in football. And a couple of guys they get thrown up to.
Gracie.
Coach, we're not tall all over.
Hey, Gracie said, why did they feed them over there?
Something that makes them real tall. I can't figure it out.
It's that radioactive stuff.
We need some of it. Right. The other boys teams, 0-4, again, they're just getting better. They're our bunch that has got a lot of learning to do yet. And so they're working with Coach Mack and getting better. And then JV girls are 2-3, Coach Gonzalez and Coach Simmons with them, and varsity girls are 2-2. They played in the tournament at Denver City this weekend. I do want to thank y'all for allowing us to have all the coaches that we have through our schedule. All the coaches that we have in our athletic periods to work with all of our kids. In our junior high boys, Coach Lujan comes over. Ms. Colmar was gracious enough to let us have Coach Lujan that first period to come over and work with the junior high boys. And then Coach Solis and Coach Mack are in there as well. So there's 3 coaches in there with them in the mornings, working with them. And I think that's been extremely helpful. And that's both boys teams there. And then junior high girls, Coach Estrada, Coach Simmons is in there, Coach Parsons is in there. So there's 3 coaches in there working with them as well. And then JV girls, of course, Coach Gonzalez and Coach Simmons are working with them. And getting better every time I stand up talking.
That was not spicy. Keep.
They have peppers in it.
Yeah.
But really pleased with the direction of our program on both the boys and the girls side right now. And I'm excited to get to see the big boys play because we haven't seen them yet. But everybody else that we've seen are doing a good job and working hard. And thank y'all for making sure that, we've got people where they can be in there to help those guys. Because we want to get as many coaches involved with them as we can and really coach our kids up well to be able to compete, not just locally, but in Albuquerque later in the year. So That's the basketball report. Oh, one other thing, I apologize for all the time changes we seem to keep on having. It's pretty fluid. Part of that has to do with we only have one girls team in the junior high right now. And so there's 3 teams, which also created some congestion in the gym. We had 3 teams in there instead of splitting 2 and 2. And so we've had some issues there, but you know, having 3 teams has caused some changes in scheduling. And then just the transition from Mr. Richard to me in the scheduling and not knowing what was agreed to before I took over some of those things. There's been some issues with that. We found that out with Pecos. Tomorrow, our varsity girls are going to play, and JV girls are going to be Pecos tomorrow. We had 5 o'clock on our schedule. That was our time. They said, no, we're going to play at 4 o'clock your time. So we'll make sure we got that out today. So we're keeping Carolina hot on the Facebook page. We gave her 2 different changes today for that. So we've got Artesia tomorrow night for our junior high boys and girls. There's just 2 games. It's our Blue Bunch playing both those games. And then on Friday morning, which I know is an odd time, Friday morning at 10 o'clock, we've got 3 junior high games going on here with 11. They'll be coming to town. And then wing tournament coming up this weekend with JV boys, JV girls. So
You got nothing but time. Nothing but time, right? Yeah, nothing but time.
So, but anyway, thank y'all for all your support with those programs.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
Coach, on the, you know how you said when we have the 3 teams playing one gym, when there's no varsity activity going on, can we move those games to the varsity gym just for the space?
I would say yes, but this man's wife right here might hit both of us right between.
Oh, that's
baseball
right,
bat.
that's a fundraiser.
Because, well, they have their concession stand in that junior high. So if,
Good luck with that.
if he and I and Elijah, we'd all just maybe throw some goodies on our back and run down to the gym and set them up maybe, but
Or
that's our issue.
have somebody buy them out and then.
There you go.
Yeah, just buy them right now.
So don't have Miss Ragland explain.
Office, where you at?
So she can explain what this cake is.
Okay, all right.
He just tried to cut you off.
Well, hey, you know.
I just keep trying to clean up.
Yeah, so then we gotta get going. But it's coffee chocolate cake. And then they made a strawberry jam as a soak and then a strawberry cream cheese icing as the icing.
Chef Beth, I love you.
Thank you.
And then jam too.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, we try to make everything.
Hey, if they sell anything for Christmas, like bacon jam, I'll buy it for Thanksgiving. I'm giving it as gifts now.
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
If she sells.
Hey, that's what I'm saying, all their fundraisers.
I'll send it to y'all.
Do it as something, then sell it at the podiums.
We'll send it to the, I'll send it to y'all.
She can make Louisiana style stuffing. Oh, it is, my family's like, oh my God, who made this?
Did you like it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I
I'm
was
ready.
just saying, over there, she had bacon jam topped devil eggs.
And they were delicious.
They were amazing.
Yes.
So,
We'll bring Nicole over sometime. Anything left?
she loves that.
Yes.
What do you have to do for next month?
This was at the Veterans Day, is how when we first tried it, and everybody was like, what is this cake?
We'll get with Ryan on that, what they're cooking for.
Well, the Winter Expo guys,
when they
we're
sent
doing,
out-
we're doing, they voted, they wanna do pastor tacos and they wanna do like a taco bar and a sliders bar.
Oh.
And so they'll make the rules
Next
for
Monday,
that.
that's why we're having the
So
meeting.
we do a lot of bread baking.
Awesome.
Wait a minute, what are we doing?
Parents.
Expo.
Next month.
I mean,
Oh,
is that
next Monday.
It's next Monday.
And then we're
I'm just gonna maybe you wanna follow behind.
y'all are good guys, some of their parents are starting to squawk.
We're good, back to good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So, sorry, so, you all more.
I think I answered.
Yeah, let's go bring something else.
But it was important.
Okay, it's only 6:30, it's not a few hours before
Lay down, we need to go.
I'm gonna walk.
Oh, it's high school
I'm just
done.
gonna walk.
Okay. Mrs. Comar, would you like to?
No, you know, it's
That was all good sleep. I'm probably.
3 minutes.
So our enrollment is still at 292, pre-K through, fifth grade. Operation Warm, I wanted them, they sent a video. This is the organization, Savadas is the organization that apparently turned in our school. And Operation Warm is the one that, put the event together. Savadas employee volunteers came and helped, provided every student, pre-K through fifth grade, with a brand new coat, a brand new pair of shoes, and a pair of socks.
Can I just say that as a part of a church organization, unfortunately, a lot of times when people donate stuff, it's like leftovers, it's the unwanted. And when I saw when Sarah came to my house and she had Emma and Richard, he was like, look at my new coat, look at my new shoes. Like, well, that's what they gave you? I was really impressed. I mean, that's high quality, nice looking
My
stuff.
grandson's in third grade here.
Charlie loves you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard too. Yep. And
I mean, those are nice.
everything was not.
I was just
saw
really
a house last night,
impressed.
in the same jacket, the same shoes.
And the way they organized it was almost like they're in a department store,
Yeah.
picking out what size, what color, it was really cool. Even the shoes, sizing them for shoes.
They did it in 2 hours. They showed up,
That's
the
crazy.
first kid went at 9 o'clock and they were done just at like 2 minutes after 11. It was, they have it down to a science and you'll actually get to see it. And so when she first called me from Pennsylvania, like I said, I thought it was kind of a scam. And so I was a little
She
down.
called over there and she said, should we do it? I said, well, we can try it and see what
I
happens.
just kept thinking, okay, the pallets are gonna show up and they're gonna say, okay, $500, for shipping or something. But it was quite amazing. I still to this day don't know who this Savadas employee from Chow is that turned us in. Samuel Ward works for the program and I'm like, oh, did you turn us in? He's like, no, it wasn't me. So I still don't have any idea. But I'm gonna show you the video they sent us that they put out on their company. Oh, I hope so.
Over there.
Yeah.
You turned our karaoke machine down a minute ago.
it's turned off, that's all.
That's how they did it. And then the volunteers that were working with
They
the
go there
kids,
and ride.
come out.
Oh, they're on the right, we're part of that.
Harold, I know, nipple.
They put their names in all the coats. You said that, but I laughed because I knew Maverick was in there.
Awesome.
Wow, that's amazing.
Awesome.
Yes.
290 students in 2 hours.
Yes.
Yes.
One of my kids.
They did, we'd have the kids lined up and one volunteer, there was 25 volunteers. And then one volunteer would take a kid, they would go over there and they would kind of guesstimate the size of the jackets and then they would start from there. They zip it up, they'd have the kids raise their hands, raise their kids out. Just people checking for the sizes of the coats and the ones the kids said, and the kids got to pick what color they wanted. And then there was a volunteer that would sit there and write their name inside the coat. And then that volunteer would stay with them and would go over and you saw where they put their foot on the little measurement. And then they would go again, the kid would pick out the color of the shoe that they wanted. And then they would get the shoes and there would be a pair of socks inside that they put inside the shoes, give them those orange bags and the kids would line up and they would take them up. And then here would come another group, so.
Wow.
It was
Very amazing.
So.
And then when they got done, when they got done with all of them, they brought in these tables of snacks and the volunteers had snacks and drinks and said, our goodbyes, their goodbyes, and then they left. They brought extra socks and extra shoes and extra coats, and so they just left them with us. And I called and I said, do you want us, are we sending these back, or can we use these for students that weren't there, or donate them? She said, they're yours, do whatever you want.
Wow.
So there were 20 students that weren't there that day. So we waited till they got back. We gave them the socks and shoes. Anybody who didn't get a coat that would fit, they write their name down, and then they just mailed us 4 boxes worth of coats and shoes for the students that didn't have a size available there.
Wow.
So everybody.
Some junior high students.
And so I asked her, I said, do you mind if we donate some of these? She said, do with them what you want. So I called Coach Richard Mistiana, and we got about, 15 junior high kids, and brought them down and fit them with coats and shoes. And, yeah, it was pretty amazing. We didn't have that many things left over, so, we donated them. We gave them to Cortez to donate to the Sheriff's Department to give to the students that are on the Angel Tree.
Okay.
So we made sure that everything was given away.
So what can we do to this school?
So I have 2 thank you cards that if you would please sign them, they were out front, if you just need to sign them. So I will send one to Savadas, and I'll send one to Operation War. So I'll start off that one on that side. So, I'll make sure that those get sent, and then I wanted to wait until we play the program here for the school board, but I'll send it to you so that we can send it on Facebook.
And I have reached out, but I think it'd be good coming from the board too, thank you.
They're wonderful. So I want just to let you know, when I talked to Haley, I wanted to see if we could get 6th, 7th, and 8th in there. And she said that the application, whoever sent it in for us, only covered elementary. She said next year we could apply for the junior high kids to get that.
Great.
Now, we had one kid from junior high showed up, and he couldn't find his size. So he grabbed another pair of, I think he was looking for 8s, and he just grabbed a size 7. And so the lady that was helping him said, now this is out of the ones that were left with us. So she said, those are too small for you. He said, I need a pair of shoes. Oh. So we did get the size 8. We had another one. We were over there almost trying to cry. We will go buy him a pair of shoes. And then one of the shoe boxes, yeah, that's why we kicked him out. And we did have a pair of shoes. They were in the other room, and we brought him out. He was happy, so. Everybody that showed up, we were able to provide. So it was a wonderful thing. So if you guys, when you fill those out, I'll make sure that they get sent.
And we're all signing both of them, right?
Yes, because one will go to Savadas.
Right.
They're the ones that paid for it, and then one will go to Operation Warm because they're the ones that organized everything. And it's actually shoes that they help manufacture. They work with the manufacturer, and that's the other thing. I was looking for a pair of shoes, and I thought, oh, one time they get wet, they're gonna fall apart. But it wasn't like that. They're pretty good quality, and they're so lightweight too. So I also, Ms. Harper, I was also impressed with the quality of the coats and the shoes. So, moving on December the 7th, the Lego League competition, there were 9 teams, 2 of those were elementary. Just wanted you to know, so at elementary, because I had a question earlier, Mr. Snyder and I were discussing, at elementary it's volunteer. I know it's volunteer for you guys, but you guys actually have a class, right? Yes. So that's something that I want to talk to Marcy, because she does part-time science and then part-time STEM, but it's kind of hard getting off the ground because this is all new with departmentalization. So that's something that we're gonna focus on, is maybe starting a little bit earlier so that the 5th graders have a little more experience, because when they do their Lego League, they also have to do a presentation. And my little student council, you saw those that step up and have no problem, and then you saw some of them that were So we're working through that. December the 10th, tomorrow, is our next group of fire truck ride for one student in each grade, K through 5. And that was for Outstanding Panther Award for October and November. So when they got caught doing something good, they got to put their name in a drawing, or the teacher would put their name in a drawing. We had that. And we have 6 students tomorrow that are getting to ride the fire truck. December the 12th, Urenco will come and do their STEM program with the 5th graders. They've done it for quite a few years now. And that's also something that's very organized. They come up, they get the 5th graders, they go out, they'll do a program with them. And so I didn't put the time on there because I wasn't sure. It'll be on the calendar, I can get that. If you guys want to come and see what they do with those 5th graders, you're more than welcome to come. December 17th is the elementary Christmas program at 5:30 in the cafeteria. Ms. Ragland does such a great job with those kids, and so you are also welcome to that. December 15th is our elementary spelling bee at 10 in the morning in the cafeteria. December 16th through 19th is our Christmas week, Spirit Week, and if you look on the second page, that's the Spirit Week. December 19th is the end of the second grading period, and we will do our drawing for best attendance awards in January. January 6th, we have our professional development, that's at teacher shooter training. You're gonna shoot on teachers? Yeah, teacher shooter training.
I was like, teacher shooter.
Remember when we were discussing whether you wanted to arm teachers? Well.
We did it.
That was the training. And then, so I saved this best for last because I just spoke to Shannon Johnson with Cal Ripken Senior Foundation, and they are going to provide a full new STEM center and provide training for the product items for the elementary.
Awesome.
Yep, she just sent me the information today, just got it a couple of hours ago.
Is she with Debbie?
She was.
Shannon Johnson, she's, now she's with the Cal Ripken.
Oh, okay. I recognize that name.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So they said they would send us a product list and we get to choose what products we want to work with, and whatever we choose, they will come and do the training. Because the last time that they came down, that was before I got here. And so I remember going to watch one of the trainings. Well, most of the people that were doing that are no longer here or have moved on to other things. And we now are looking at having a STEM room as one of the new additions. And so I think that's what that we having a discussion with us.
That's awesome.
That really is amazing.
Thank you. And that's all I had. Did you guys have any other questions? Did everybody sign both cards?
Yes, ma'am.
All of them?
Thank you so much for everything.
You bet.
Thank you so much. That's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
All of that.
Yes, thank you guys are busy.
It's nice for our kids to do us like that. Physical things, to keep them warm, and also like, you know.
Yeah, it was,
That's wonderful.
Yeah, miserable way to.
Same, that's what they need to walk home.
What's this weed?
Hey, it's like you gotta keep them safe out there.
you know how far
Hey,
we
speak for
walked
yourself.
We just still, we're not confused with the kids.
I spend my.
The only trouble I had was with the whole code and stuff, was my grandson came here a few months ago, from Eunice. But he chose a red jacket and red shoes.
You know what?
I'm like, you know what? Listen to me.
Enrollment just went down.
Hey, Jaden,
What?
Jaden wears red belt better.
No, I
Right.
know. I was like, all right, you can go in the house.
You know how Carolina feels about that too, so.
But, yeah.
Take your stuff out outside. And you do not wear red.
I know, she walks in and he's like, yeah, bro, that's like other.
Bro.
What are you wearing?
You know, this is like long gloves and your grips.
Right? It's like,
No,
make them write like two T's on their face, like it's Texas Tech or something.
But he was so proud of those.
Bless his
heart. Yes. Mr. Snyder?
Okay, so if you- on the second one, if you'll mark out will be, if not, I will be attended. Because I will be attending is
Who
what it was.
attended you?
I will be attended. So,
You will be attending.
if you'll mark off, will be. The first one, January 20th board meeting rescheduled because Martin Luther King Day is on the next scheduled one. What would you guys like to have it on Monday after that, Monday before
We
that?
have to have Monday after.
Yes,
Yes. So we're at the nines right now, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It almost would have to be, don't you think, for district purposes, would have to be the Monday before the 13th? Because if not, from right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's gonna be almost, that'd be 7 weeks if we hold it.
so January 13th?
Are you guys okay with Monday the 13th? Right?
You check the schedule.
You know what? I checked it, you're fine.
Just a minute, let me get that.
2025.
Man, it's already time for the February 24 conference.
Oh, shoot, right, that's. I was
It's fun, huh?
I want to do with the fireplace.
Oh, that's
You guys
mine.
gotta do the
Nah, bro.
That's mine, dude.
Let's put it in the calendar. Did you actually don't need to go on the?
Yeah.
When our rooms have fireplaces?
Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital 5 days.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Let's not repeat that.
Yeah, calendar.
I know.
Everybody's got it on calendar.
Yep,
Okay,
so it's whatever we do.
Okay, I attended the National School Service Conference in Florida. It was great. Florida was great,
Was it?
but it was a lot of traveling. I mean, it's that CES thing. This was officially my 4th year as the president. You're only supposed to serve 2, but Leanne Gandy retired early and I've had this extended tenure. And so by next year, October, I should be off as past president. So it's been a great experience. It's brought a lot of things to our district that we would not have had. We were able to forge some relationships with colleges and get some scholarships for teachers for our teacher program, preparedness program, some training for principals. We've even had just a lot of connections that we've been able to make with CES that's helped us. We've had some staff development, our strategic plan and 6-year study. All of that was a lot of networking that we did with CPS. So just to let you know, it's been great experience for me so far. The NMSBA Board Member Institute will be February 13th through 15th in Santa Fe. Who is going right now tentatively?
Can we leave a day early?
A day early, like?
Robotics is February 15th, I ain't missing it.
Yeah, well, the 15th is the day we leave anyway. Why don't we just come
Leave
down
from there
and go down to the robotics?
Yeah.
You wanna do that?
From there?
Whoever wants to ride with me, we'll go down to the robotics.
all right, myself.
We'll go down to
I ain't
robotics.
driving 55 miles an hour on the way.
Have you seen how you drive?
So it's on the 15th?
February 15th.
That's perfect,
That's
then we
what I'm
can just come back and do that on the way home. What time will it be?
It starts at 8:30 and not done till
So
4
we can leave in the morning
Even
and come back
Thursday, even
to.
Thursday night,
Yes,
or Friday night, I'm sorry.
So I
That's turned
I
out.
don't think I'm gonna be in
Reserve us a room.
I think I'm gonna be in Australia.
What?
What?
Yeah. It's my wife's birthday, so it's, you know.
So you took your Australia for her birthday?
Well, we're planning to have a year.
How about anyone else?
Wait, during
Probably.
this conference?
I think so.
Too far out for me today.
Okay.
I'm going.
I mean,
I will let you know, I can't remember the dates. But,
Okay.
It's kind of a big deal, John, it should be in your calendar.
I know.
That's kind of a big
Well,
difference.
her birthday's on the
I know
17th.
it's-
It's on the 17th. I don't need it. I have a wife. I don't need a calendar. She doesn't do all day, every day, everywhere.
sorry, Mr. Earl, can you since you don't.
And if I cancel by, they have a date, I think it's 12, somewhere in there,
February?
of February, or I'll look at the date I have to cancel by the 9th maybe. And then I'll check with you again, because if you don't know by February 9th, it costs a lot of money.
Right.
Can we please get the same rooms with fireplaces?
Yes,
I don't know how you got that. Is that been up there for 14 years in a row? I've never had a park.
You have fireplaces.
I sure do.
all rooms will have a fireplace this year.
There you go.
We're gonna bring the whole into that.
I usually book the cheapest one and try to run out, and I'll go to the next one. But today I was able to book them all.
So romantic.
Some have a little bit.
Nice.
And it will be, the conference they said will be in the El Dorado, because I'm trying to always guess. So I asked him, I emailed him and the NMSBA guy, and he said, it's supposed to be scheduled in the El Dorado, because they worked out there. Because they were just charging, they were.
Hey,
I'm calling their schools and they're telling they're not paying. That's the last thing we need for them.
Is that my fault?
Really?
where's Dexter?
I was
Where are
minding,
they?
I was minding my
Where
own
are
business,
they?
hey, I was minding my own business.
Iron lighter
I'll call and confirm that with me.
So,
Yeah, Vicky's on this time.
Ryan, it's the 13th of March
I'm the doctor,
2nd.
she can come.
We're on.
I'll just stay in your room.
I'd rather, would you rather go to Santa Fe now?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey, is it fire season there? 'Cause
We're doing things around it more than that.
And so then we have the projects listed, paving projects. The parking area next to church is still in the queue, and so is the baseball field. And that's all we have for once.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All that really does kind of seem very like on something.
Yeah, so that's
It
one.
is a lot of fun.
Well, that's what
I know, bowling.
And it will also get all of your hours that are now in state statute.
Yes, let's talk about that really quickly, just
Oh, man.
That one conference.
so.
What is
Right,
the
just-
number?
right, you say-
So I can't remember.
I can't hear, but that conference.
Yeah, lies is what it is.
It really did. So as a board, real quick, let's just talk. We have to remember that as of January of this year, legislation made our requirements a statute, right? So now they're law. Before it was a rule, a head rule about our number of hours that we have. But as of this year, it became statute. So now I don't know what that looks like.
You will go to jail, but you're not.
Yeah, I mean, like, you go to, I don't.
There's a school board jail?
Yeah, maybe, I would do this. I mean, I'll attach you to it.
There you go.
Okay.
But anyhow, that being said, I don't know what our numbers are, I can't remember, oh, you have them.
We all got the email, I was playing out
Oh,
like
right.
So you can read that?
Yeah, can you read it? I didn't get it.
Online.
Yeah, yeah, I was cleaning out email and I'm like, wait, I should pay attention.
Right.
So this just shows, and this was August.
Okay,
That's
This
the
was
last.
August the 19th.
Okay.
It says, if I'm reading it correctly, it says the total 14,
okay,
12,
Okay.
6, 15, 0.
okay.
Does
All
that
right.
sound right?
Yeah, well, that sounds right.
And it has
So I
different
had
categories.
14, or I had 15?
14.
14,
15,
15,
12,
12,
6.
6, and 0. So what do you
How
think?
do I remember, what's the number?
Well,
There's no number
I
in it.
15?
I think the number's 10.
I think
It's not in this email.
Yeah,
I just know that one conference will get all of your.
I think it's 10.
Sign up they will, right?
Yes, yes, they will. I think it's 10
Because each one you sign into, you like an hour or 2 hours, each thing that you sign into, that.
I just remember the little guy was signing me in.
What this email said was that calendar year used to be September 1st
Right.
to August 31st.
Right.
And now this year they've adjusted it. So if you didn't get all your hours in this year,
Right.
you have until the end of the year, because now it's calendar year, January 1 to
1,
December
yes.
31st.
Right, I knew that, I think it's 10 hours. So I
It doesn't say
think, I'm not 100%, but you can easily go to the NMSBA and look it up. Now, I don't know what that outcome looks like for anybody that's, I just want.
Yeah, Brian already said it, prison or jail.
But what we need to do is, I'll tell you guys what, I will get on tomorrow and I'll look that up. I'll get our exact numbers of what we need. I think it's 10, it could be more, but I think it's 10.
So 2 hours in each of the subtopics.
Right, but I think there's 5
Yes.
subtopics.
Yeah.
Okay, so that being said, for Randy, and well, we also can get the subtopic hours that we have.
So I have the statute here. All school board members in their first year are required to complete at least 2 hours in each of the following subtopics. There's 5.
Right.
All school board members who complete their first year of service are required to complete a minimum of 5 hours of annual training in the following subtopics. laws and department policies, public school finance, a local school board's role in evaluating, a local school board's role in providing a safe learning environment, legal concepts, effective governance, and other matters deemed relevant by the department. And the NMPD has to disclose the training hours yearly.
Right. And that's what that August.
The workshop,
Thank you, Adam.
you can literally get all your hours in one workshop.
Right, okay, but I say I know this, so how it has always been in the past, anybody that was deficient in certain areas, there is a way to go in and log in and do continuing education online.
It's on the NMSBA website.
Okay.
Can you send that link to
Let me
me
send
real
the
quick?
Yeah, so I know there's that way, so I would look into that. I don't know what that outcome looks like with what it looks like if we're deficient. I have no idea.
Now, okay, it does, even though it's a statute, it doesn't have the force of law. I asked him about it.
Okay,
You're not going to jail.
well, of course.
But they did make it a statute from a PED rule.
Well,
It's a PED rule.
So I do know this, I do know that at the last conference, when they talked about the statute, and changing from a PED rule to a statute, what can happen is because we're governed by the Attorney General, if we're not following state statute, they can remove us and have state replacement come in and govern our school district. So I do know they can do that, right? They can relinquish us of our positions. Now,
All 5 of us?
well,
Or is it per?
no, it would be per person,
Okay,
or board, they have cleaned the whole boards
Yeah.
before. I mean, they have removed whole entire boards. Anyways, so look into that, I think Brian just sent it out, if you don't mind. Just trying to, thank you. Yeah, take a look at it and see, because I do know that there are, or at least there were, online hours. And then maybe each of us can make sure that even though we have the hours totals, we may not have our topics. So we need to look at it. Okay. Outside of that, yeah, usually February is.
that's the best one.
It's good because it has everything in there and each one of those things is 2 hours.
Right, yeah, it's by as conference,
Yeah.
but I think it gives us the majority of our.
And that's why you will see more board members usually at that.
Right.
Because it has everything.
Right.
A gamut of everything.
And outside of that, of course, you know, and I'll bring it up just because we're talking about it, it is so nice having the full board attendance.
Mhm.
It's so important, it's so hard to make good informed decisions with just 3 or 4 people. You know, it's just nice to have a full board, it feels like we're all on the same page, and I think the staff all, you know, it shows that we're here for them too, so.
Well, and I'll say, when I first got on the board, Kayla, Jenny, and I all got on at the same time, and it was you and Rick Miller,
Right.
were the ones that were already on there.
Right.
Of course, Kayla and Jenny knew each other, I knew who they were, but I had no like relationship with any of you, really.
Right.
And just the drive up there and being up there, having dinner together, doing things, it was such a good way to get to know one another.
Right.
You know, that, to me, that was like, I remember telling Rick Miller on that drive, I said, I was so like anxious about this, I'm leaving all my kids, you
I remember
know, they
your
were,
first one.
they were little,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm leaving them, and, you know, they're begging me not to go, and it was stressful.
Yeah.
Why are you
When
laughing?
you move to me like that's a real good start.
Okay. Listen, I'd rather than go
Newspaper guys like it.
Well, I'm not running to just this way.
I know you.
Well, again, I just wanna, you know, thank you for bringing that and stuff, because that is important, we need our hours, and we need a full board, and we all have everybody to do their hours, and I appreciate all.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is anything, Mr. Snyder, anything else? Need motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
7:01. Woo, we got food.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
This is a 2-hour long meeting, and food.
Yeah, dinner.
I feel like that every.
Oh my God.
Did you try that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
As we talk, we worked out.